Hey, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Tim Aslan here with another crypto update. Guys, it's 2026. I think it's time to do a macro update on ETH. So, let me tell you a quick story first. I was never that big of an ETH bull in terms of fundamentals, but recently I've looked into it a lot more and I am pretty bullish on ETH fundamentally. So let's pair that also with technical analysis. So actually, I'm going to make a video purely about the fundamentals of ETH and the things they've been working on. So stay tuned for that if you like ETH. But in this video, it's going to be purely charting. So here's the macro chart of ETH over the last 6 years. And you can see we're pretty much just in this big range. So all the way since 2021, we had our range high and we never tapped it until recently. And this is a little bit similar to what happened over here. You can see that we had this big March 2024 high, came down, swept it, went down, and then pumped again. So now we're in that same kind of fractal where we swept that high, came down again, and then we're holding this support here. So I'm going to show you that support. But first, it's worth noting that if you pull a volume profile tool, so this shows us all the volume in this entire 6-year range. First of all, you can see that the highest volume was right here at this low, and that held up really, really well. And that was essentially a triangle fake out. So you can see we have this trend line from all the way down here. We went below it, people got really bearish, and then we swept all this liquidity and came back above it. Lots of buys came in right here. So this entire area down here is very strong volume. So I don't know if we'll ever go below this area. But looking back up here, this white line represents the value area high, which is the higher bound of where 2/3 of all volume are traded. So 2/3 of all volume are traded within this range. So you know how we have a sideways range like this based on the candlesticks. We also have a volume range where all the volume is traded, or most of it. So you can see that we broke out of that volume range, came back, and we retested that perfectly. So see this on a monthly chart. We did not close any candles below, and we bounced above this volume area. So it's kind of like when we break out of a range and retest it and then continue up. The same thing happened right here. And so this looks really good, and there's no reason to be bearish as long as this area holds. The next piece of confluence, if you've been a follower of this channel for a while, is the point of control. Or excuse me, not point of control. This one's the point of control. This one is the golden pocket. So if you've been a follower for a while, you know that we like to use the golden pocket a lot. It just works so well. And it's based on this Fibonacci ratio right here, the 618. And so you take a fib retracement from the low right here to the high. And look at that, perfect into the golden pocket, bounced up. Originally went even higher up here. Since then, we retraced down, still held that volume area. And then now we have a new yearly open candle right here. So yeah, basically what we want to see now is we broke out of this diagonal trend line, right? And then we went back into it. So as soon as possible, we want to get back outside of it. This black line right here is the previous yearly open. And if we go on some smaller time frames, like the daily, you can see that area was where we rejected from that first initial pump right there. So now we're close to it, and we're probably going to be retesting it this week. So now it's important to see how we react when we get there, because there's also a daily level there. So as soon as we hit it, I do anticipate a bit of a reaction. However, I do think we are at least going to sweep above this high right here. So we can add a trend line right there, and we can see that that is a strong resistance spot, not only because we have this one, but if you look to the left of the chart, you have other areas that were reversal zones in that area. And this reminds me of my Bitcoin chart. If you haven't seen that video, I posted it yesterday, but we have a very similar kind of supply zone right there. I'll show you that real quick. So you can see this purple box right here on Bitcoin. Same kind of thing where we've had big wicks into that area. And that's where I'm looking at for a potential reversal on Bitcoin as well. And it's no accident that these are about the same percentage points away from Bitcoin and on ETH, right? Very, very close by. So we need to watch this area very carefully, and we need to make sure that if we do sweep it, we're prepared to enter a short position. Hey, real quick shout out to my favorite exchange, BitUnex. Guys, if you need a good exchange, especially if you're in a country that is a little bit more restrictive, these guys offer no KYC trading. You don't even need a VPN. All you need is an email or a phone number. You can start trading immediately. They have a bunch of cool features like, check this out. This is their markets feature where you can see the sentiment, market cap, increased volume, biggest gainers, losers, top volume, newly listed, and a bunch of other data that's just really nice to have. They have amazing liquidity, and they even have a proof of reserves that's updated every single month. So yeah, guys, there's a link below. You can get up to a 20% deposit bonus through my link. That's going to be below on BitUnex. Let's get back to the video. Now, the bullish thesis really, though, is that even if we do a short-term sweep, we may retrace down, but we won't break these lows again. We really want these lows to hold. And honestly, for now, I think these are really, really strong lows. How I would look for a retracement entry is we actually have this new level, which is our new 2026 yearly open. And this has not been tapped again. If you look back here, whenever we do some strong moves past the yearly open, we always come back to retest it like right here. And then from this retest, we made a new all-time high. So I'm expecting something similar on both Bitcoin and ETH, where I think if we do sweep this high, we'll get a potential short-term pullback, and then we can tap that yearly open and then go up from there. And a further piece of confluence, just thinking ahead, would be, imagine if we pull our fib retracement from this low to the sweep of the high that it makes, we'll have our golden pocket match perfectly with that yearly open. And that would be a really strong level to trade from. And not only that, check this out. I didn't even know this till now, but we have that point of control, which is the highest volume traded in this range since the beginning of November, right at that same intersection of the yearly open and the 618. So to recap, if we do sweep this high and come back down, everybody's going to get scared. And if you're a follower of this channel, you're going to be looking for longs in this area. And I do think if we can hold this area, hold above it, we can get a significant rally to the upside, much higher than this area. So that's my main thesis right now on ETH. One last quick one to mention is if we do the TR pocket, which if you're a follower of the channel, we talk about this a lot. Basically, whenever you have a range like this, we get fibs where usually when you break out of the range, if it's not a liquidity sweep, just like this, it'll usually tap this area and then at least retest the range before going higher. Or if it's bearish, it'll come back into the range. So let's say that we don't get a liquidity sweep scenario like this. Instead, price pumps a bit higher. Then that next area would be this TR pocket for at least like a little retracement down back to around 3,500 after going to about 3,670. So that would be a very important area as well, because we have this built up liquidity right here. So that would actually be a perfect liquidity sweep into that TR pocket. So that's one additional area that I would look at for ETH that you can trade, and that I'd say is a pretty solid setup. So, and I would probably only take this if we don't dump from this first liquidity area. Like if we continue up from there, I do think at some point, you know, we're not just going to go straight up like this forever. I think it would go straight up, maybe retest, and then really pump up. So something like that, where you can have a good stop loss about probably 3% away or less, maybe 2-3%. Let me check. Yeah, 3.5%, something like that. And then you can do a take profit 1 at the retest of the range, and then hold in case we get all the way down to that yearly open for a 5-hour trade. So that's exactly how I would approach this. Right now, there's nothing to be done, guys. We can just watch the pump. If you long down here, great. If not, if you're a scalper, maybe find an entry. But until we get a good pullback or a liquidity sweep from the range high or the TR pocket, there's no trades to be taken. Now, the last thing I want to mention on ETH before I wrap it up is up here. We can actually zoom out of this giant range right here. And you can see this is a well-defined low. This is a well-defined high. And we can pull those same TR pockets. And I've been saying this for a long time on this channel. I think 6,000 for ETH will come maybe this year, but that's the area I'm looking for, between 6,000 and 6,300. That's my prediction on ETH, where from up here, I think that we'll do something similar, where it will at least retest this and then continue up. And then we'll have to zoom out and find targets there. Hopefully that happens. I have a good amount of ETH. Or that could be the cycle top, and then we head back down to retest this point of control before the next cycle. Anyways, guys, if you have questions, leave them in the comments below. Make sure to sign up for my free Telegram. And if you'd like to learn how I chart, feel free to send me a DM and we can talk about mentorship. Anyways, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Like and subscribe, and take care.